Anthony, good morning.
DA, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Good to be with you.
Before I talk offensive line with you, the most important question of the day, are you a wing or a leg guy on Thanksgiving?
Oh, man. You know what? Things are always kind of changing in life, And I was just watching a little bit of a cooking show here, and I'm thinking I've become a dark meat guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be the wing, the leg, and I'm more of a dark meat guy now. So it's really weird how that kind of changed.
You're a brilliant man. Dark meat is the way to go. I totally agree with you. Stuffing or mashed potatoes, which do you go with?
Definitely stuffing. Definitely stuffing.
I got to imagine Anthony Munoz in his prime playing in like 1985, 1986 takes down a lot of Thanksgiving stuffing and turkey when that's dished out for you middle of the season.
Well, it had to be strategic because, back in the day, we got weighed in every week. They designated a weight. We got weighed in. And it just always happened that Thanksgiving was on Thursday, and that was weigh-in day. So we would go in, get weighed in, we'd leave early, and then Coach would always pull a surprise weigh-in. So you had to kind of hopefully lose a few before Thanksgiving, and then you could make that up with the Thanksgiving dinner. But, nowadays it's like, heck, let's just go for a whole turkey and a whole bucket of mashed potatoes or gravy or stuffing. It doesn't matter now.
Oh, so that's interesting. So you got weighed in the morning, so you had to make sure you lost a little bit of poundage. And then that night you could just crush all the Thanksgiving dinner that you wanted because you were past the weight
strategy,
barrier.
Man. It was all about strategy, game plan. Not only game plan on the field for your opponent, but you had that strategy and game plan for your Thanksgiving meal.
That's right. Offensive linemen are very cerebral, so they know how to execute the game plan. You never played on Thanksgiving. Did you ever want to play on Thanksgiving when you were at the Bengals?
You know what? You got spoiled of early practice, coming home and spending the whole afternoon with your family, and getting a chance to watch games and eat. So it was one of those things that it didn't happen, and I really didn't have a desire for it to happen. So I'm glad that, we had a chance to just kind of hang out with the family that afternoon.
Anthony Munoz is working alongside Ford Tough, and Built Ford Tough Offensive Line of the Week recognizes the best offensive lines in football. Four-time winner, the Philadelphia Eagles, got the award in week number 11. We know all about Carson Wentz and what a great season he has had. How much of Wentz's success should be attributed to his offensive line this year?
Well, I'm a little biased. I think it all goes hand in hand. You can put a pretty good quarterback back there, but if he doesn't have the protectors, if you don't have the running game, things are not going to go that well. And especially look at the Eagles, man. They lose Jason Peters, one of the best at what he does early on with an ACL. And, you get the next guy up to stand up, Bataille, and you got, and the thing that's impressed me is, you got a center there that most people say is undersized, Jason Kelsey, but every week he continues to play at the highest level. And so I think it's very important. Now you got to, you put into that mix a really nice young quarterback and a pretty good running game. Things are going to go pretty well.
So when you were an offensive lineman and you have a rookie quarterback like Carson Wentz last year step in, or Jared Goff step in like last year, is it tough as an offensive lineman to be in there, cracking your heads, in the trenches, working hard, knowing that there's going to be rookie mistakes made behind you? Or can you just rally around anybody knowing that he's your guy and that's just the job you got to do?
That's just part of it. And I went through that. Kenny Anderson, my first 4 years, his last year was his 16th year in the league, so the guy was a veteran. So my 5th year in the league, we get a rookie quarterback, and it's Boomer Esiason. You have to understand, as a lineman, as whatever position you're playing, you go through adversity in a football game, and some of it is, linemen make a mistake, wide receivers with routes, running back, and rookie quarterback. So you just have to rally. You have to say, okay, let's just forget about that one. We have a chance the next play to make up for it. So, yeah, it's just part of the whole ebb and flow of the game. You have to be able to overcome those things and just move forward. So that's the whole makeup of, being a team player and being a guy that's part of a team, is everybody's got to rally together and be able to overcome it as a team.
Offensive line legend Anthony Munoz joins us on the show. We had Jackie Slater on Super Bowl week from Radio Row, and I was going back over some of the great games that the Rams played in with Jackie Slater, and he said, boy, I'm surprised you remember any of those games because people don't remember offensive linemen and the games that they've been involved in. And I said, boy, well, the offensive line is part of these great games as well. Did you ever feel like, sometimes you just flat get forgotten as part of great games and great moments because you were the offensive line?
Well, early on when you become an offensive lineman, that's part of it. You understand that people are not going to know you until they call your number for a penalty. And first of all, let me just say, Jackie Slater, one of the greatest.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a guy that we actually, we would look at other linemen play in the league and try to incorporate different technique. And we actually had a Slater technique in our repertoire, in our, what we did in our game plan. So the guy is amazing, great friend, great human being, and a great player. But, you just realize that that's part of it. So if people do remember the offensive line, that's like icing on the cake. But, I was fortunate in Cincinnati to, we had a great game against the Chargers leading up to the Super Bowl. And one of the things that we went out and I think we pretty much established the tempo, established the whole kind of what the game was about is when we came out in 59 below without sleeves. And, if that's the thing you get remembered for, that's great. But, so it's just part of being an offensive lineman.
Freezer Bowl, 1981 AFC Championship game. So for you and your career, obviously you were part of offensive lines that hopefully could build consistency and play together. The Dallas Cowboys are one of those offensive lines that are the strength of that team. But they lose Tyron Smith, and kind of automatically they don't look very good anymore. Is it as simple as take one guy out of even a great offensive line and everything kind of suffers from there?
I think so, and I think it goes the same for you have an offensive line and you sign a great free agent and you think your line's going to be even better now because of the cohesiveness, the communication, the working together. And I think that offensive line is the one unit where, one guy being subtracted or one guy being added can make a difference, good or bad. And I think, a player of Tyron Smith's caliber, that's going to make a big difference because not only does it affect that side, but it affects, game planning. I mean, how strategy is put together for the defense you're playing against.
Find out which offensive line will be built for tough in the offensive line of the week. The NFL recognition goes to the offensive line that raises the bar with the smartest, toughest plays of the week. The winners announced every Tuesday afternoon at NFL.com/Ford. The Eagles won it last week. They are now 4-time winners on the season. And things get done just like the new 2018 Ford F-150 when the guys in the trenches are making plays and getting it done as well. Again, the NFL winner announced of the offensive line of the week, Tuesday afternoons at NFL.com/Ford. He's one of the great offensive linemen ever and a very cerebral man when it comes to his Thanksgiving dinner. It's Anthony Munoz here on the show. Anthony, you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, my friend, and thanks so much as always for finding time for us.